Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Welcome again to our SoBigData Digital Coffee. It's a very good, nice pleasure to see you all connected once again. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, let me present myself. I am Giulio Ferrigno, Senior Assistant Professor of Innovation Management at Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna, and I have the great pleasure of moderating this webinar series with my wonderful colleague, Maria Giulia Carcea. I also would like to express my gratitude, as usual, to SoBigData Research Infrastructure for giving us the possibility to organize this webinar series. So a special thanks goes to Valerio, Michela, and Roberto for the incredible support in making everything possible. In this webinar series, we are focusing on very concrete real-world applications of big data in 4 sectors. So we focus on healthcare. Last time we focused on tourism. This time we will focus on media, and then we will have a new, the last webinar on finance. So last time we talked about the relevance of big data for the tourism and marketing. And we had a very nice discussion about this topic with Giovanni Mauro from Scuola Normale, Daniele Tortora from Octo Telematics, and Susanna De Luca from Doxa. If you missed this session, you can go, of course, to our YouTube channel of SoBigData Infrastructure. So please go there and make a like. Today, we will talk about the relevance of big data for another important sector. We're gonna see the relevance of big data for the media sector. So, and also this time, we have very outstanding speakers lined up for you. But before we jump in, let me briefly explain the format, and especially for those of you who are joining us for the first time. So in each of our webinars, we always try to involve 3 different speakers representing the different perspectives. So sometimes we have academics, other times data scientists, or even managers, in order to give you a well-rounded view of the topic. And each speaker has about 10 minutes to present. And after the presentation, we will have 15, 20 minutes of Q&A session. So please, if you have questions, don't be shy. Write them in the chat, because at the end of the webinar, I will read these questions to I will read these questions, and we will try to answer these questions together with our speakers, okay? Let me also remind you that this session is also recorded and on Zoom platform, and will be also available after a few days on the SoBigData YouTube channel. So if you miss any part of the webinar, don't worry. You can watch it later. Or if you missed the previous episodes, please, you can go there to watch them again. And also, let me remind you that at the end of the webinars, so in December, you all receive the SoBigData magazine for free. And as announced in the previous episodes, this time you can also earn a certificate of participation just by attending these webinars. So please sure to stay engaged, and feel free to invite other people to join this community, okay? So having explained the format, let me go back to the topic of the webinar. So why which is about the importance of big data for the tourism sector. So big data is revolutionizing many sectors, and in this is also revolutionizing the media industry, because big data can transform how the content is created, how the content is distributed, how the content is consumed. So think about Netflix, Spotify, very well-known platforms. which use data analytics to deliver personalized recommendations, also boosting user engagement. Even in journalism, big data enables advanced techniques like data-driven storytelling, making news more compelling and relevant. Advertising also benefits as behavioral data analysis allow for hyper-targeted campaigns, maximizing also the ROI. But it's not a matter only of efficiency, it's also a matter of creativity. So big data can also fools indeed the creativity, identifying emerging trends, also audience preferences, and even empowers media companies to innovate their business model and to catch ever-changing consumer demands. So this is why we are focusing on big data in the media sectors. But to better understand this issue, we have involved three outstanding speakers today, right, Maria Giulia?
So thank you, Giulio, for this presentation, and hello everyone. Hello back for the one who was also in the other webinars. So today we have three speakers that we are going to present: Salvatore Citraro, Marco Cerri, and Gogołek. So now I think it's time to go deeply on their presentation. So we will have the first presentation of Salvatore Citraro. So I'm very happy to introduce to you Salvatore, that holds a master's degree in digital humanities with a specialization in languages technologies and a PhD in computer science from here, the University of Pisa, where he focused on complex networks and methods for social media mining. His also interest and his interest lies in data science, social network analysis, and artificial intelligence methods for data mining. So, Salvatore, thank you for being with us today. If you please want to share your experience as researcher in this field.
Yeah, thanks for this invitation, for this presentation. I'm sharing the screen, right? Can you see the slides? Perfect. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I can start with my presentation, which is about some insights from several works in which I was directly but also indirectly involved, focusing on the effects of network interactions on several platforms, on several social media platforms. In particular, I will talk about the identification and the evolution of echo chambers in several discussions, in several topic discussions, and the emergence and explosion of collective emotions in other contexts. Because we all know that people engage in discussions across several platforms, ranging from several topics, from politics to culture to sports. And the important things is that all the discussions in which we are involved are shaped by different types of bias, which can emerge at different levels, at an individual level, at a group level, but also at the level of the platform itself. So we can talk about selection bias, because people tend to interact and to select information to confirm pre-existing beliefs and tend to interact with people sharing similar opinions. And we will focus on these two types of bias in particular. But just as a background, we have to know that there are some bias related to the recommender systems and to the platform themselves. The important thing is that all these bias can let emerge opinion polarization, the formation of echo chamber, and individual radicalization in several topics, in several scenarios. I want to focus on three case studies in particular. The first two ones are about the identification of echo chambers in political related discussions, where we can define an echo chamber as a group of people sharing similar opinions, sharing similar points of view, political leaning, and who have a limited exposures, to opinion outside the ones in the group. In the first case study, I want to focus on this work by a colleague of mine and my supervisor. In this work, I was involved just in an indirect way for the methodology, but the focus on this work was on the previous Donald Trump presidency and on several discussions on the Reddit platform on several controversial debates about gun control and minority group discriminations. And the focus of this work was on the identification of groups of pro-Trump supporters and anti-Trump users. From a methodological point of view, I will just give you a brief overview of this. They developed a classification task giving to a machine learning model the question how much users posts are aligned with pro-Trump beliefs, so they can divide the users in two groups, pro-Trump and anti-Trump. And then the important thing, which is common in all the case studies and in all the framework vision of our group, is that social media are complex systems, so are complex networks. Social media can be modeled as graphs of people, so entities, nodes, interacting in a complex way. When they engage in a discussion, they interact and they form a complex system, a complex network. And in these networks of users, we can identify groups of similar mind people. The important thing in this of this first case study is that echo chambers, which are in these plots the ones above the horizontal red lines, so the one in which we have identifying a well-connected group, such as in a clustering with a clustering method, don't emerge in any context. For instance, when people debated about gun control, it's harder to identifying echo chambers. Whereas where people debated about minority group discrimination, they emerge. And they emerge both anti-Trump and pro-Trump echo chambers. So the emergence and the identification of echo chambers don't involve just one wing, just right wing or left wing. They involve both types of both political leaning, both groups of users. And then there was another case study again focused on the identification of echo chambers in another context, where again a colleague of mine focused on the evolution of echo chambers given a particular topic within a particular time frame. I don't know if you remember, this is a very Italian and maybe a very Italian topic, maybe. In the previous European soccer championships, there was this very important debate, discussion on Twitter in particular, the old Twitter, now X, where players should or should not take the knee before a match for supporting fights against racism. And there was born a very important debate, a very polarized debate about this, and we can see this from these slides. Again, above the horizontal red lines, we can identify echo chambers, so groups of people pro taking the knee and the people against taking the knee, of course, for the players. And in the first two matches, this doesn't emerge, maybe because the topic was not so a hot topic. But then we can see the evolution after the third match of groups of people. It is clearer from this heat map, where in the first match we can just identify in one center, one red circle, just one opinion, and then this opinion polarized into two different points of view. And this is the emergence and the evolution of echo chambers in this particular event. Then the third and last case study, just some brief insights on this, is again on a different type in a different way, a different method to try to identify polarization within social media in terms of emotional explosion of emotional outburst, and where we were able to identify and represent collective emotion as time series, and studying this in a very particular context, which is the context of soccer. So we try to model emotional polarization as the emergence of collective emotions. Just an example, I did this example with my favorite team, of course, before this, let me explain why we focused on soccer in particular, because people on social media can span, can express very different types of emotion, from happiness to anger, from sadness to fear. And we focus on the extraction of comments on Instagram. So this is the third platform we studied: Reddit, all Twitter, and Instagram. On Instagram, each team has an official account, and of course teams post about match, half-time scores, full-time scores, and of course people comment on this post, and they can express very different types of emotions, from anger to sadness and to joy and support. The important thing is that we can identify time series of emotional events over time, so over an entire championships. We focus on different championships. I want to focus on the previous second tier Italian system, where we can just try to identify rank based on the people emotions, but we can also identify outbursts of angers and try to observe how different fandoms on social media express their emotions. For instance, fans from Parma City express anger just in terms of the single match, whereas the anger of Palermo fans, it emerges as an outburst of anger. It's like they accumulate, and then explodes in anger, regardless of the results. This can be important maybe for the social media manager of teams themselves, when they have to post something and they can take into account the emotion of their fandoms. Of course, we can try to use this this time series, this emotional, this explosion of collective emotions, also to find and correlate these with expectations, with the people expectation at the beginning of the championships, and relating this over time. So this can be useful just for play, but also maybe for the account themselves, for the social team themselves. And yeah, okay, I just said this, but it was the right slide. And I hope this very brief overview was clear, where I try to give 3 different insights, which can be different from the point of view of the topics, but they are related from the same thing. So the way that individual and group bias can let emerge polarized environments, outbursts of emotions, and echo chambers formation and evolution over time. So thanks again for having invited me and for the opportunity to give this presentation.
Thank you very much, Salvatore. Amazing presentation, and I think also the topic will interest many people from politics to football. So amazing. Thank you very much. If you have any question that you would like to ask to Salvatore, feel free to write in the chat, and in the end of this workshop, on this webinar, we will address the question to Salvatore. So thank you again, and now let's go to another point of view, the point of view of Freeda Media with Marco Cerri. So hello, Marco, and thank you for being with us today. Marco Cerri is an accomplished professional in data analysis. Currently, he is the head of data analysis and technological innovation at Freeda Media in Milan. He has also a PhD in methodological and applied statistics, and he has extensive experience leading teams of data scientists and developers to drive business insight and optimize marketing strategies. So, Marco, thank you again for being with us today. If you want to share your slide and your presentation. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Just a moment that I sharing my screen. Okay, can you see?
Yes, we see.
Yes.
Marco, you are muted.
Just a moment.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I'm Marco, and I'm excited to share insights and to share how is our work in Freeda and how Freeda leverages big data to transform marketing strategies across various sectors and various industries. Just to present Freeda, Freeda is a publisher on social media, and our mission is to help brands become more relevant by leveraging social media platform as tool to listen, engage, and grow their businesses. We believe that by empowering brands with data-driven insights and creativity, we can inform the creativity and maximize our organic performances while planning paid media more effectively. Thanks to the experience gained as a publisher, as a media on social networks, on Instagram, Facebook, Meta platform, TikTok, and YouTube, we created a business unit approximately 2 years ago that offers communication agency services. And we offer 3 products: Listen, Engage, and Transact. Listen, which consists of the analytical study, we can say, of the market overseen by the brand and its current way to relating on its community. This analysis usually aims to define the operational guidelines for the future communication strategy. The engaged product consists of the creation of content to be published in line with the communication strategy defined with the client, thanks to the analysis conducted with the listen module. And the end, the final product is transact with concern of the creation of for brands with e-commerce and who therefore have as their performance objective the revenues related to communication activities. Let's briefly see the listen module just to understand the method that we use to analyze and create the content. The first step is the connection via API to the social platform in order to collect the metrics related to the published content. Through the qualitative tagging, we analyze content performance by assessing the tone of voice, posting frequency, and engagement metrics. This helps us understand how different formats resonate with the audience and inform our editorial planning. To be honest, tagging is our biggest challenge, like data scientist in these recent years that requires a lot of mixing of skills for the creation of an ontology useful for our purpose. To the qualification of the content, we had the experience gained thanks to years of analysis of the behavior of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and their algorithms to connect with the different communities. And this data allows us to identify common themes and trends to shape our strategy and concretely define all the actionable insights to improve each individual content in a cyclical process of continuous improvement. Our goal is to increase both organic and paid performances across the platform, and we provide actionable insight to guide brands on best practice in content creation, media budgeting, and community management. And now I'm excited to introduce Margherita. Margherita is our innovative web platform. It is designed to recreate the circular process that we have seen before for collecting and providing knowledge based on analysis of all the content developed by the Freeda platform over the year. We are firmly convinced that, and we have proven that profiles with a strong and effective organic presence can build a community around the brand, establish a strong connection with their customer, with their consumers, and gain more visibility. Then, on the content that the community likes, the boosting provided to paid campaigns amplifies the desired effect. By connecting the brand pages through APIs, we can tag content according to key performance indicator and qualitative elements. In this way, we develop a system that feeds on and learns from the new content and new objectives from a machine learning perspective from time to time. The platform starts by collecting data and applying tagging to the brand discount. Brands can set specific targets and campaign goals, and also define campaign objectives like awareness, reach, consideration, engagement, and so on. And once the brand connects its social media API to Margherita, the platform generates an ideal content distribution and distribution plan, and this plan outlines strategies for the platform's publication frequency, format mixes, and qualitative suggestions to align with the brand's goals. With the plan in place, brands begin creating and uploading content that follows the outlined strategy. As brands upload their content, Margherita provides actionable insight to improve quality and maximize performance. We therefore thought of a software consisting of 3 modules. The first modules with a bad name for the moment, provisory, a pre-sales module that collects all requirements, a workflow management module that schedules the content to be published, a performance analysis module that generates actionable insight. Let's dive into very quickly into the pre-sales module. This module is essential for setting the foundation for successful communication. It begins by identifying the target platform based on key demographic such as gender, age, and geographic location. By doing this, we ensure that our campaigns reach the right audience effectively. Next, by our proprietary algorithms, we estimate the average campaign outcomes, which include metrics like monthly organic and paid reach, as well as fan-based growth. And this data help us to craft a solid campaign plan detailing the number of content pieces to be produced based on previous successful business case. The second module is the workflow management. This component is crucial for managing the entire content creation process. It encompasses all aspects of the project management related to social creative strategies, from content creation to publishing. This module includes a comprehensive content management system that streamlines scheduling and tracking of content production workflows. Furthermore, it supports self-publishing and organic boosting capabilities and techniques for our content. In this module, ultimately enhanced collaboration among teams and optimizes the overall project timeline. Finally, let's discuss the performance analysis module. This module provides in-depth insight into how content is performing across various platforms. It features a dashboard that highlights key publishing drivers such as reach and engagement metrics. Brands can conduct a comparison over different time frames, like last week versus last month, and analyze performance against best and worst performing content. This comparative analysis is vital for understanding what works and what doesn't. And additionally, the module generates actionable insight that inform future strategies. So the brands can test these insights to measure their impact effectively, allowing for continuous improvement in their content strategies. And by leveraging this data, brands can adapt their approaches, ensuring that they remain relevant and effective in their marketing efforts. In conclusion, Margherita represents a significant advancement, in my opinion, our opinion, in how brands can leverage big data for their social media strategy by integrating creativity with data-driven insights. We empower brands to enhance their relevance and engagement in today's digital landscape. And this gives value to the brands that work with us, but also guarantees internally be innovative from a technological point of view by having the possibility to add new features to the basic software, position ourselves in the market in a distinctive way, be more efficient in our work, and have a full governance of our processes. And why not have fun with lots of beautiful data science tools that make it whole work. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. I hope I haven't bored you too much.
No, it's perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you.
It was very, very interesting. I think also maybe the audience have some questions for you. So thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
So now let's see the last point of view of today's webinar, which is of Professor Gogołek. So I'm sorry if I don't say correctly the name. Professor of Computer Science with focus on media, pedagogy, and since 2011, big data collection and AI-driven analysis in scientific research, such as election prediction, identifying key driver in business 4.0. He also author of 5 books and numerous articles on IT, internet, and AI. So thank you again, Professor, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope that all works. I mean, all picture presentation, do you see?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for invitation. It is a honor for me to have this possibility to present a part of our researches regarding media. At the beginning, personal thing, my base, my ground, it is computer science, IT technology, information technology. And then I start to work for media in Polish press agency. A few years I was president of this agency, and it was chance to recognize the value of media, simply value, money, business. And I think that it is the main point of my presentation. And the title is Big Data about media, but dominance of the media world. At the beginning, I would like to say that more, we can say, continents of the new media. I want to correct this. Continents of new media. What does it mean? I will try to explain. Thanks to the technology revolution, the new media industry value has reached nearly $3 billion of dollars, surpassing global military spending over 15%. Do you imagine? Media are worth more. Market media is bigger than military, something incredible. So it means media, it means business, money. So this enormous value highlights the lucrative nature of media, showcasing its significant market value. I'm sure about it. I think you think also. Certainly, when I saying this, you are thinking immediately, what about transparency? That the media should be free and so on. And are we sure? So it is convincing that the investing in new media can generate significant revenue. More money to media, they give you more money. Do you know about this, about the consortiums all over the world? What makes the value of the media? Talking about the value of media begs the question, what does media mean today's context? Today, should investor to the media focus on radio, TV, maybe newspapers? It's true. My suggestion, it is passé. No, it is old-fashioned seeing the media. But what is a new one? So we will go to this. And the obvious thing, the role of media is to help consumer navigate the vast amounts of multimedia information generated worldwide. The challenge improve the navigation, and generally it is the most important to produce information and generate it. Which real present days elements, players or dominant forces make the media more profitable and should be the subject of education? You see, money and education. By the way, education is for money as well. So, once again, this point, what players dominance, I call it continents. They are the main players which are the subject of education and the parts to make money in media. It is a main point. So the problem is identifying key players in the digital media landscape. Today, 2024, yes, 2024. It is absolutely different than 20 years ago, 15 years ago, even 10. So identifying key players, elements in the digital media landscape is essential for understanding the industry's value and impact. It justifies the usefulness of identifying the major players. So it is worth to see inside the media what is important, which parts are the most important in media, to invest to them, to teach about them. What? So, continents of the media. So we made research, target, identify currently dominant continents of the media worth Media world that shape the business landscape of the media industry, at the same time defining the direction of media research and university education. Which part of media are important or not for education and to make money, business. And the aim of our research was this. Methodology. Automatic selection of media-related current rich document sources. Rich, it means with valuable information. We found big data. We found 1.5 million documents. Scientific expertises 1.5. It wasn't easy. I can talk about it a lot, but it is enormous number. You agree with me? If the sources were good, when we were looking continents in these documents, yes, because each of these documents, all this 1.5 million of documents contains 16.5 word media. So it means that the materials were really focused on media. Results. The very easy method, the basic, we can say, heat map. Signposting. All words from this over million documents we analyzed and find on the lower level the most popular words. By the way, we were talking some minutes about moment ago about market, and it shows from down to up the most popular words. The words show us when we should look for these continents, the main players of media. The second way, very popular, TSNE, but a little bit more sophisticated method, which can identify these continents of media. The points which we see, there are words which are close each other, and the words we collect, they make clusters. Clusters, one of these clusters, it is communication. In this cluster, we have 100,000 of words which are connected, which are neighbors together, and they make an continent. And once more, each continent, like communication, has islands. Islands, it means all other words, terms, which are close to the problem of communication. And as you see on the picture, on the right side, the communication, and it is continent, and there are elements which are, it is hierarchy, which are the most important regarding communication, the problems, digital, public, research, politics, and so on. It is communication. And other continents, social. Another way to find easy method, but very clear, shows us using keyword extraction and viewer who, from my point of view, shows these continents. The biggest the circle, it means much more important, more information about social is all over the world in the media. So we have continent social. We have continent communication and others. you see in this picture, there are colors. The colors show us clusters, continents of media. Continents, it is a point with islands around them. I put here the continent. We can see islands which are regarding about fakes. Very important, as you see, islands of media at this moment, misinformation, disinformation, and so on. It shows the most important, very important elements regarding media. Media, I mean, fakes, misunderstanding, and others. And thanks to these researchers, we finally found two subcontinents, which means that today's media, we can see paradigms of media are tools and content, subcontinents. Subcontinent tools, it means social media, communication, and digital. Content, politic, public information, the main continents all over the world. Nothing more is more important, the bigger interest in media than these continents. But remember that social media, for example, communication, it doesn't mean that it is only social media. This continent has its own islands. Are the islands of social, as you see, advertising, brands, blah, 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 and other elements, islands, which show what does mean the continent social, communication, and so on. And it is, so we defined it, we found the main players, the main continents of media, in which is worth to invest and to maybe use as elements of teaching students in university. Not teach about radio, newspaper, it is passé. Everything is new media. They are old dividing. And now we have these continents. Next. Thanks to this research, data, we can do other, using more sophisticated tools, predictions. Predictions, what's going on, predictions, what will be in the future. And one of continents, it is information services, the sixth one, as you see. And we check, you see how it growing up. The continents, it is very futurable part of media, continent of media. It means it is worth to invest in it. In other continents, we see there is much more flat, maybe it is going down. And we know what to teach and in what to invest. So we can estimate the state of media, parts of the media, and predict in which direction we'll be going on. And supplement, additionally, this methodology we use looking for business 4.0 continents. Business 4.0, have you heard certainly about new technology, business 4.0, which continents? And we found 17 continents, and among others, it was electric energy. Electric energy consists electric energy, producing and collecting this energy. Why I'm talking about this? Because we found islands of this energy, among others, it was hydrogen. The research was made 5 years ago, and we predicted in this time, 5 years ago, that hydrogen in this future of energy, and other as well, but it confirms the methodology and results are proper regarding discover state and prediction for the future. Conclusion. Big data. Big data is a source of information, certainly. Additionally, we have statistics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on. Is opening the way to identifying key continents and islands in the media landscape. One. The second, the hierarchy of continents. Hierarchy, it is important. What is bigger, what is not bigger? Little continents and islands in the media world provides a clear roadmap for strategic investments to what we should invest and growth opportunities, including subject of university media education and research. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gogołek. It's a very nice presentations. We learned a lot. I have so many curiosities, questions, but I think we have some questions from the audience. So let's now scroll the chat to get all together, and let's read them. Okay. So let me go back. Okay. Marianna Bonfanti wrote, "Thank you, Salvatore." So first speaker. So thank you, Salvatore. Very nice case studies. I'm curious about the social media on politics election. Is something changed compared to the recent US elections or not? One more question, if I may. This time related to the sport case study. Do you think that cultural background mindset might be a moderator of your relationship? How generalizable are your results to other contexts? So, Salvatore, if you can just answer to these questions very briefly, because we are...
Yeah, very briefly, I'll try. Yeah, of course, very, very interesting questions. For the first question, I can answer in two ways, let's say. The first answer is intuitive, and we can say no, things don't change because there are always polarizing debates, and they also depends maybe on some particular change points or particular events that we cannot predict, like for instance in the previous election the Capitol Hill things, or in this election the attempt to murder, which can polarize debating in a way that we cannot predict. And the second answer is, okay, we can do this, we can answer to this question by looking at the data. We can do this, of course. For the second answer, yeah, of course, the cultural background and mindset is a factor, is an important factor to consider. The question of about the generalization also depends on the methodology. The methodology, for instance, in the sports case, in the sports case study, we use an emotion classifier for the Italian language, and for comparison with other leagues, with other country, for instance, we can have to use a multilingual emotion detection task classifier to have a good comparison about different countries. But of course, is a factor to consider, the cultural background and so on, because of course interactions are not only positive but also negative, no? So yeah, thanks for the answers. Yeah, for the questions, sorry.
Okay, thanks, Salvatore, for the answers. So let's go on, and let's read some other questions. Carlo Antonelli for Marco Cerri. What are the main qualitative differences between Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube according to your analysis? So I think here Carlo Antonelli refers to, I mean, if you find any differences in the qualitative, I think, taggings you were referring to in your presentation. And what are your main clients? Only big brands or also influencers?
Okay.
Probably
So
Carlo Antonelli is an influencer and wants to know
yeah.
if he can be engaged by Freeda. I don't know.
Okay, thank you for the question. The first question is not so easy, unfortunately, because I can tell you that the age is a big discriminant for platform. TikTok is more for Gen Z. Facebook is for older people like me. But it's not just like that. It depends on what the brand wants to communicate and how it wants to express its values in the communication strategy. So this is the reason because all the qualitative aspects related to the content and the communication are so important, and the difficulty for the data science team to classify all the aspects and to organize them to a correct way to analyze the answer of the performances of the question. So there are several aspects very related to what the brand wants to do. Yeah. And the other the big brands or influencer. Okay, no, Freeda Media in the agency department has for big brands. I can say our clients belongs to different industry, beauty. For example, Pinko or Guvi. Guvi is a brand with the founder Michel Hunziker. Then we have fashion. Yes, we have other clients like Moncler for fashion industry, Jeep for automotive. So I can say that they are big client and multi international clients. We have also Repower for energy industry and Mediolanum for finance. So you can see that we are not focalized on a specific brand, but we can share all our knowledge with several industries. And for influencer, yeah, we can like for example with Michel Hunziker, we are trying to build a joint experience with other influencers or celebrities. For example, 5 months ago, we started a project with named Rebella with Belen Rodriguez. So another celebrity influencer, obviously, we can say, but with another approach on social media. Okay.
Thanks.
I hope that I answered the question.
Yes, definitely. You provided very clear, very real, concrete examples, and of course, if anyone from the audience is working for a brand and wants to explore some possibilities, our contacts are your contacts. So please, let's get in touch so we can facilitate connections, partnerships, and so on. Okay, and last but not least, there is questions to Professor Gogołek. So, did you find differences between and after COVID? Did the continents change or some subcontinents got more relevance. So I think that your analysis referred to a period that which where COVID is inside, so is in the middle. So probably this curiosity is related to this. So you presented us continents of the media world and also subcontinents. It was a very nice presentation. So did you explore this or this issue or not?
Yes, similar. We made a research. I just was looking for this presentation to show the results, very interesting results regarding COVID and prediction what happened, and the islands of continents, we can say, of changes, importance elements of education. In education, not media, but it found really very interesting and surprising results thanks to analyzing really tens of thousands data from all the world, and not only from Poland, all over the world. By the way, one of results of this very funny and for me was surprising. What was one of the biggest problem of education regarding the time of COVID? In the time of COVID, no one. I didn't met this problem among my colleagues and in literature, but big data showed the problem. The problem was, what do you know what? Mother. The biggest problem during COVID, the element of education, it was mother and family, old brother and so on. It means the very important factor of education during problem in COVID were the role of family during in this education, and there were other problems, not technical, as everyone expected, because I don't know in Spain, in Italy, did you have distance learning? So you know, in schools, it was not problem. The problem was that mother should have to help the children to teach them. So yes, we tried it, and it is easy. Generally, it's not difficult to find really general, very important problems.
Okay. Thanks a lot. And then we have some other things in the chat, but I think they are not questions. But I would like to thank Professor Melissa Appleyard from the US, who is extremely sad about the outcome of our recent presidential election. But she thanks us so much for all of these valuable big data analysis. It's thanks to our speakers actually. So, and also for the community we involved here. So thanks for this appreciation. And also thanks to Professor Teichert who really liked our vivid presentations. We are very sorry, but we're a bit out of time. That's not usual, but before closing this webinar, let me thank once more again our speaker. So Salvatore Citraro, Marco Cerri, and Wojtek Gogołek. We learned a lot today about big data in media. Let me also thank to big data research infrastructure, and also to Maria Giulia, who I thank also her for conducting with me this webinar. But don't forget that this cycle of webinars does not conclude here. We have our last webinar of our series. It will be on December 11th. We will focus on investment strategies and with big data insights. They will be the last one. So we want to make a very big party of this. So let's bring friends, colleagues, let's involve so many people, because it will be the last time. And of course, the link will be the same. You will be able to watch the video on the YouTube channel, so BigData YouTube channel. And of course, let's keep in touch for exploring new collaborations, new opportunities, also with our speakers. We are very happy to facilitate these connections. So let me thank you once more again, and have a lovely rest of the day, afternoon, or evening to each of you. We look forward to see you very, very, very soon. Thanks.